everybody, I'm Dan Egan with the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. Happy 4th of July. What a show we have for you today. We're excited to kick it off and celebrate the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, but also celebrate our Olympians and their accomplishments. Joining us today is the Executive Director of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, Justin. Justin, how you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing great, Dan. Always good to see you. Beautiful sunny day here in the UP.
We're joined by 2022 Olympian and gold medalist, Nick Baumgartner. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing great. Just excited to be here with everyone in the Upper Peninsula. It's been unbelievable coming home from Beijing with that medal and sharing it with everyone here, and seeing all the kids at all the schools. And then today we'll do a big parade, and I'll be the Grand Marshal and get to smile and wave. I like it. It'll be good.
Oh, so much fun. And of course, we're joined by two-time Olympic gold medalist and your good friend, Seth Wescott. Seth, good morning.
Morning. Happy to be here today.
Nice. It's a reunion of sorts to have you guys together on the call and celebrate the 4th of July and all the accomplishments. A lot going on in the UP today. Justin, tell us what's happening.
Yeah, we've got a great day. We got Nick here, as he said, parade marshal in our hometown, Ishpeming, Michigan, home of the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame, as you well know, Dan. We've got a parade at 10, and then a meet and greet out at our Elkwall Rec Center here, which was our original Alpine and Nordic Center back dating all the way to the late 20s. As you know, the ski team was started here in 1904, became the U.S. Ski and Snowboard just 7 years ago. And 2007, we renamed ourselves U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame in line with that. And happy to have Nick, of course. Just inducted Seth about 6 months ago back in Bretton Woods. Got to know him and some of his people really well too. So it's been a great little road, and lots of good things moving forward. But today's about the 4th and celebrating. Nick grew up just about an hour and a half away, and we call him a super Youper. He's joined the ranks of a few other super Youpers here, coming back with the gold, and just excited for the day.
You know, Nick, quite a journey for you, 4 Olympics and winning gold in recently in China at 40 years old. And so that's quite a journey. What was it like to finally achieve that?
I mean, the emotions of the whole games were something quite amazing for me. I went and I got to experience the low of the lows of coming short of that goal once again, and then 48 hours later, I got the chance at redemption. Me and Lindsay were able to get the gold medal. And like you said, not only get the gold medal, but to do it at 40 is quite special for me. And it just goes to show what's possible if you don't give up on your dream and you keep working through and fighting through that adversity. And I'm just honored that my story has this kind of, well, I wouldn't say ending because I'm not done yet, but it's just cool that a lot of athletes don't get that reach that pinnacle and to get that. And for me, I'm very honored and fortunate that my story has that.
Of course, you won it with Lindsay Jacobellis in her 5th Olympics, and that, you know, you guys obviously have known each other for quite a long time. What was that like for the two of you?
It was cool, especially to be a part of that, like to see everything that Lindsay has gone through her career. And since 2006, she's been through a lot, and she's had the media beat her up pretty hard. So to see her go and stick it to everyone and show that she is the dominant force that she is, and then to go 2 days later and get the opportunity to do it again and really solidify that, and to watch her do her grab to come across the finish line and get our gold medal. It's pretty cool as a snowboarder to see all that play out. And yeah, she's amazing, and it's been an honor to be her partner and her teammate for so many years.
That's history playing out in real time right there. And
yeah, you can't script stories like this. I'm telling you, that's the beautiful thing about being part of the Olympics, is the stories that you hear of people overcoming the adversity and winning, and then people who are supposed to win to fall short. And these stories are nothing short of unbelievable. And it's crazy to have one of those stories that people talk about.
Seth, you got to talk about it as the announcer for NBC. You called that gold medal run for, you know, both Lindsay and Nick. Just tell us what that was like.
It was amazing. You know, it was really kind of fun, just the lead in throughout the winter, following these guys and, messaging back and forth with Baum a bit. And then same with Lindsay. And Lindsay had gotten hurt in the fall, broke her elbow in a skateboarding accident. And so just like seeing her trajectory coming into the games and how her time trial results were getting faster. And, Nick had gone out and secured his spot early in the World Cup season with a couple great results, including that first podium at the test event there in China. And so it was just really cool to like kind of see all the pieces coming together for them, and then to be able to be a part of that behind the scenes with doing the calls for NBC. It was a really special thing to be a part of. We've all been teammates for so many years. It was hard not to get emotional on the air when these guys were making the golds happen. It was a really special thing to be a part of. And, having known these guys as long as I have, and, we know all the ups and downs of what we go through with life on the road and injuries and the back and forth of competitive lifestyles. And it was just a really special thing to be a part of for both of them.
And that firsthand because Baum actually edged you out on the Olympic team. Was that 2014 where you had to sit at home and he went on?
Well, yeah, I mean, I was battling injuries for my last couple of cycles for sure. 2006 and 2010, I was in a good place and healthy. And after I broke my leg, blew my knee up in Alaska in the spring of 13, I couldn't get my body back together in time. And, part of it, I never really looked at it as Baum edging me. Baum was in a good place those years and healthy coming in. And I was battling my body for those last two cycles when I tried, but it's part of I don't know. I really think it's part of the cool part of the camaraderie of being teammates is, I had, no problems with falling short in those years because I knew I really wasn't up to the task those couple times around. But it's always cool to see, especially with Baum, I know how hard he has worked through all these years and overcoming adversity. Like the year that he won X Games a week after breaking his collarbone, with Landon there in the crowd. And, you get to share all these really special moments in each other's careers. And sometimes you're on the outside of those moments watching it play out, and sometimes you're on the inside, and it is special all around because, in a lot of ways we were really like a family traveling together on the road all these years. So it's just been really cool. And I was so proud of Nick, especially with the heartbreak from the men's event, and then turning it around and getting up for the moment and being ready to charge and do battle with all those guys that he had to race. So it was really special to get to witness that.
And Nick, what's it been like for you, over the length and time of your career? What's it like training and raising a family? I mean, did that change the dynamics for you?
Yeah, and I'm very fortunate I have the family that I have, where my mom and dad were always there to step up when I was gone. And Landon's mom, whenever she couldn't, my parents were there. Her mom was there. It was just the help that we had that made it possible, because it becomes very difficult to juggle the competitive, the training, the travel, and being a parent. And you don't want to go short on any one of those things. And I think I've found a very good way to be able to do that, and then to see my son graduate this year, and at the same time I get the gold medal, and then I get to do his commencement speech and see it all come full circle. It's been unbelievable to see it all play out the way it has, because 2 weeks before I was about to go off to Colorado to start my journey to become a professional snowboarder, I found out I was going to be a dad, and that could have easily changed the way my life went. And we found a way, with the help of my family and my support system here in the Upper Peninsula, to be able to make it possible.
And Justin, tell us about the museum. It's really interesting to me. It's way up there in the UP. But to have the relevancy of a local winning a gold medal must really, help, sort of everything that's happening at the museum.
Yeah, it's really important what Nick's been able to do, because it really brings us back to the 50s and here in the UP. I mean, in 1950, if you're sitting right here, like 95% of our Olympians lived and trained right around this area. You know, most of them are ski jumpers, Nordic sport type athletes. This community, and I don't want to say it doesn't have as strong of ties, but this community was reminded by Nick's accomplishments of just how many, you know, badass skiers and snowboarders come from, you know, these obscure areas. You know, I mean, how many people do you know from Buck Hill in Minnesota? It's like, the thing is like a 300-foot, you know, bump in the middle of a cornfield. It's like, how do we get these, you know, crazy good athletes like Nick and so many others back in the day from around here? So it's really, it's rejuvenating the community a little bit to see that, yeah, we pump out Olympians and this becomes their home. Like down the road, if and when Homeboy does eventually retire, he'll be eligible and qualified, a lot like Seth, who was just inducted into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. We've inducted 464 people in 63 years here, Dan. So starting back in 1956 with the very guy that started the Ski and Snowboard Association here in Ishpeming, all the way through to Seth's class and the class we just inducted in Sun Valley. So we're super proud of Nick and his ties to the UP and going out and showing people what can happen. And I guarantee there's going to be more kids that grab their boards and knock the dust off and hit the chairlift on opening day in the fall, because if he won a gold medal, I might be able to too, right? That's what they're thinking. So we're pumped, man. And Nick deserves all the credit in the world, man. He's a workhorse. I see him go by 6:30 in the morning in his truck, the only guy on the road heading to the gym here in Marquette, just after winning his Olympic medal. He's been doing it for 4 months. So we're excited and super proud.
Yeah, that's amazing. It's great, great all around. And of course, Seth, you were just recently inducted into the U.S. Ski and Snowboard Hall of Fame. You gave it a very emotional speech at Bretton Woods and during the induction. And you know, you've mentioned a few times already today, sort of the cycle. And you're just, you know, you won your 2 medals, you've been inducted. What was that like for you, and what's ahead for Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think I realize more and more as time goes on the effect of what my medals had. I mean, I'm even seeing it back in Maine with, you know, kids that were little kids, like in 06 and 2010, that had an inspiration for that. You know, one of the young kids that had just graduated from CVA, Bowden Geary, he just went over to his first training camp in Les Deux Alpes this last month, and he's actually running on some of my old race boards. And you know, the generational aspect of it, Alex Tuttle, who was a kid at CVA when I first got my medals, is now running that CVA program and coaching for the Paralympic snowboard team. And so you see these cycles of like the people's lives that you touch that get inspired. You know, Alex made it all the way to the national team, had a couple World Cup podiums, a silver at X Games. And so you see that direct influence on the people that you come across, and the kids that get inspired, and the kids that then decide to pursue their own path with it. And it's I know Nick is definitely in that driver's seat right now as the gold medalist of having that effect on people in the sport all across the country. And it's really cool. I mean, for me, the older I get and the more that I can see how that impact affected kids and got kids inspired to do the event, it's awesome. And so, you know, with Nick and Lindsay's success this year, it creates a whole other wave of kids that are going to come into that program and be future Olympians, following in all of our footsteps on the snowboard.
Nick, I wonder if you know what the age range of the Olympic race was that you won. Do you know the youngest, how old the youngest competitor was that day?
I don't know the youngest. I know Elliot Grundine is 20 and I was 40. I definitely know who the oldest was, but I don't know. There was probably someone younger than him, but yeah, there was quite a gap there for sure.
What does it say about the sport? Does it say that there's longevity in the sport, or that there's not enough newcomers in the sport? Or what do you see for the sport now?
I mean, it could say a little bit of both, but definitely snowboard cross definitely has that longevity that you can continue to do for a long time. Whereas in the freestyle sports, what these kids are doing, it's quite amazing and terrifying. So they get aged out a little bit earlier. And as our sport starts to change since 2018, when we had all those injuries at the Olympics, they've tried to make things safer, which has allowed me to stay even longer. Whereas if the courses were like they were back when Seth was around, they were a little bit scarier. We used to show up to races terrified, like, oh my gosh, we got to hit this stuff. And now you don't so much have that, which allows me to stay competitive longer. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting question because we started doing this sport because it was dangerous and it was scary and it was awesome. And I don't want them to lose that part of it. So I hope that it starts building to more like the old school courses. And but I don't know if the kids would know what to do if we gave them one of those courses. If we threw them on the X Games course, they would. I ain't hitting that, and that's a proud moment for us, like me and Seth, because that's what we raced on. It was scary, it was terrifying, and to see it go the other way now, it's a little. I don't know how to.
Well,
to feel about that.
For what it's worth, the other 99.9% of the population looks at the courses that you're racing on and is still terrified. Even dropping into those things out of the gate looks like something out of a Bond film or something to most people. I would say.
You know, I've seen a sort of more organized effort around border cross and skier cross at the academy level. There's more teams. They're training. They're building the courses, and they're traveling.
I do see that. Unfortunately, I do have to be honest in this question and say that I don't see the depth that I see in other countries for the US. And it does make me nervous. And I mean, it does scare me a little bit because I don't want to be here when I'm 50 doing this. I want the next generation to come up and learn from what we've done and find their success. And I hope that we can still do that, but we need more kids out there. We need to just inspire more kids to go out there and give it a try because we are strong. And at once we were the most dominant snowboard team in the entire world. And I'd like to keep that alive.
You know,
to your point though, Dan, to your point, I like seeing it from the outside a bit now, and seeing a lot of those programs. I mean, I hope that those are going to capture some of that up and coming talent because I know my involvement through the academy as a board member for 10 years and seeing what they're doing now. I think generationally, we're starting to get some good coaches in place that were athletes themselves at a high level. And so I do think that they are going to help create more talent in the US. And I know what Nick is saying. It's tough, you know, competing against, say, like the Austrians or the French and some of these nations that have just so many more dollars to throw at their World Cup programs and their feeder programs. But I have hope and faith that we've got some good talent coming in the pipeline, and I've seen that kind of behind the scenes of how much the pipeline is getting a better foundation than when Nick and I came through those programs.
And I love seeing the way these coaches are now. Everyone seems to be working together. We're trying to find that common ground. Everyone's working together to build off with each other rather than just these little pockets. It's cool. The communication is what's going to get everyone the better chances. And I think we're really finding that for sure. It's hard to even believe. I would have never thought 17 years ago when I joined the US ski and snowboard team that this is how it would play out for me. I would have never thought my best season of my career would be at 40, and that's when I would win my gold medal, especially considering the prime age to be successful in snowboard cross is 28 to 32. Those were my two worst Olympic finishes. And but the lessons I learned there are imperative to helping me win that gold medal this time around. So that's yeah, it's unbelievable to think that the oldest. Yeah, I didn't see this all coming. I mean, that's what I was working for, and that's what I wanted. But now that it's a reality, it's quite cool.
Well, congratulations. It's quite an accomplishment. Really amazing to watch. It was
one thing I do want to say that I haven't had the chance to go back and watch everything. I've watched my disappointment and hearing Seth go, man, I'm heartbroken for Nick. It holds a special place in my heart. And the things that I've heard from everyone, Seth, from the words and the kind words you spoke of me, I appreciate you, man. And I'm going to go back at some point and watch all that, but I haven't gotten to yet. But I appreciate you and I love you, man.
I love you too, brother. It was, I can't even find the words to express how special those few days were of calling Lindsay's race, calling your first race, and then calling the team race. And, just how proud I am of you. Me as a new parent now, just kind of about to step into my 5th year of fatherhood, having such a different understanding of, what a journey you've been on all these years. It was really an incredible thing to be a part of. And I was just so proud of you.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And all the kind words, like when you were saying about when me and him were going for that team in 2014 and Seth wasn't, even though it was Seth trying to get his body back, when he had free time, he was still calling me and mentoring me and talking to me about what was up to come and letting me know how he felt about it. And it's been awesome having you as a mentor and a teammate for so many years.
Yeah, my pleasure.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, no, it's just good to see you guys shaping history. I watch you guys talk, and I know how hard Nick works and how hard you work, Seth. But to see kind of the shaping of this sport is just fascinating. And I would love to have a whole nother conversation about the history and the sort of morphing and creation of the discipline of board cross and other things and where that came from. But it's just so cool to see you guys competing at a level that most people can't really get their head around, representing our entire country as top competitors and showing the world that you're the best at something is pretty special. So I truly do appreciate you guys and honor you guys. I'm in a good spot at the Hall of Fame to have the opportunity to kind of tell that story too and take care of it, so other people will forever be able to reflect back on that and watch goofy things like this and just see what the heck Nick was doing after his gold medal. It's fun. It's fun to be a part of.
It's real Americana. To me, it's just real Americana. And it just, you alluded to budgets but this is what makes American Olympians great. It's hometowns, it's families, it's, we don't have all of the same financial support. We have something else.
Yeah, absolutely. I had, as I'm sure Nick is experiencing now, like once you get that gold, it is so life-changing that you start to just have this whole different slate of experiences than you'd ever had before in your career, and it allows you to reflect and have all these moments, like especially with young kids, where you start to kind of really realize like what that platform of being an Olympic gold medalist allows you to do. And for me, I realized pretty early on after 06 that ability to give back and inspire is what's going to have the biggest change on the outcome of our sport in the long run over the coming decades. And I already see in Nick just that joy of sharing the experience. One of my most pivotal experiences before going to the Olympics was sharing a van ride with Phil Mayer. And Phil and I went from Beaver Creek down to the airport in Denver, and he talked to me. I had won the world championships the year before. This was in the summer before Torino, and he talked to me about his experiences of that feeling that he had when he came up short in his first Olympics and went home with a silver and didn't hear the national anthem played, didn't get to stand on the top podium. And he really felt that he had shortcomings in himself when he realized 4 years later in getting the gold that, it wasn't just he who had gone and done that it was, all of the community, from every like bus driver he'd had as a kid that took him to the ski hill. Like, he talks about, and whenever I've heard him tell this story after the fact, he usually tears up, and he's like, I was embarrassed that I thought that I was doing this all on my own, because what I realized when I heard the national anthem play was that it was everyone around me who had helped me through all those years get to that moment. And he reflects on being embarrassed about, when he had the silver, he just thought, oh, I didn't do it. And it's like, well, no, actually the whole nation has been helping me do this all along. And he didn't have that moment of realization until he got his gold. And so,
and something you said, it really hit home for me, and it inspired me to do this and this, and then I get to hear the amazing stories from these kids, and to know that I had a piece of inspiring that is going to be unbelievable.
that'll keep happening to you your whole life too, Nick. It's amazing. Like, now I meet these kids that, were just kids at the time, and now they're young adults and pushing into their own careers. And it's that cycle of what you get back for what you've given back is really, it's such a amazing thing as you keep going through life. It's really, and it's just been so awesome to see you being yourself and, sharing that joy of what you've gone through, because that's going to come back to you 1,000-fold. It's so cool. And you're going to have these experiences for the rest of your life. It's awesome.
Well, and it's cool now, like when I do a speech or a talking, when I'm doing this, like when I did my son's commencement speech, I've always heard people say, when you speak, you need to make them laugh, you need to make them listen, you need to make them cry. Well, now with the emotion that comes with the story, they're gonna cry, and it's usually because I'm crying. So I've been to 53 schools, means I've cried 53 more times. But it's been unbelievable, and when they see that emotion, man, I think they really listen. And
well, and Nick, like, it's such a good thing. Like, I think it's so important in society too for them to see, a badass world class athlete that has the ability to be vulnerable, because it's like everything that we go through in our own journeys and the ups and downs, like lots of times, like people never see a strong guy like share that kind of vulnerability of like, there's going to be hard things on your path in life. And it's important for kids to see that, I really believe that. So it's good on you.
Yeah, well, although my goal wasn't to show the world that I was a crybaby, I'm very proud of that interview that went down. Because people did get to see that. I mean, we are putting ourselves out there. We're setting ourselves up to either win or fail, and the good and the bad are going to come, but the emotions are definitely there.
They are, for sure.
He actually cried 54 times because we took him out golfing and tried to teach him how to drive a little bit further. So that was the 54th time. But no,
that's a never-ending battle of frustration, Nick. Just get on track, man. Some this winter.
It was okay because this guy slept wrong, couldn't even move his neck, and he was doing this. So I felt fine. I didn't care where my ball went. I could move my neck.
Nice.
Yeah, I got a lot more golf in my future now with these golf tournaments and stuff like that. So I'm definitely working on the game. I'm athletic, so I can hit the ball good, just not all the time.
Yeah. You'll get it.
Yeah. Or I won't, but it'll still be fun.
It is.
Justin, how do you wrap it all up?
Well, it's just good to see these two guys, the history that goes back. I sat with Seth during his induction, and I'm always just blown away by how our industry is on the surface it looks like so much going on, but it's really just it's just people, usually people helping people. It's all one thing I always was taught is relationships are everything, and to just see this relationship and understand just a tiny little piece of what these two guys have together and how far it goes back, it really makes me really appreciate the entire sport of snowboard and how much time and energy and enthusiasm has gone into making it what it is for as a sport, and also just for our country. So it's just so cool. I mean, and we're only seeing the tip of the iceberg, Dan, of some of this stuff. These guys have road warriored together for so long and know so many people and have helped each other up from falls and get to celebrate the huge victory. So it's just great to see as an athlete myself too. It just really brings back that competitive fire and really dedicating yourself to a sport. I think the best thing I heard today was what Nick just said, which is, we put ourselves out there. You're setting yourself up. You go out as an Olympian, you could be the biggest failure in the world, and you could also be the biggest world champion and hometown hero in the world. So just really cool to see. Wish we had more time to spend with these guys, and happy to see and excited to see what the two of you guys do for this sport. You guys are both still super young compared to our typical Hall of Fame interviews. So, man, you guys got a lot ahead of you, and I really, truly hope that you guys continue to push and make the impact that you have on the sport of snowboarding.
And I promise you I will. And that comes from people like Seth leading by example, people like Tom Izzo, Steve Mariucci from the Upper Peninsula. These people that came before me have really showed me how to handle myself and what to do with the success that I've had. And I appreciate that. So thank you, Seth.
No worries. You're doing a great job carrying the flag, brother. It's awesome.
Yeah, if you didn't teach it to me, my mom would have beat me if I didn't go do this stuff. So I come from good people. They would have made
I know.
this happen regardless.
For sure.
Does it make you feel more American on the 4th of July, Nick? And
Absolutely. Well, and I think Seth can attest to this. When I hear the national anthem, it hits a little different now, and there's that pride and like when it doesn't matter. I'm at a small sporting event and the national anthem goes off, and I'm standing there, and sometimes tears start coming down my face, and it's a good feeling. Countries all over the world, but this one's still my favorite. America.